This is the third part of the story of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Forthright, but he was widely praised for his commitment to preserving the world's forests and campaigning against overfishing in the oceans. Philip, Prince Philip also took a keen interest in industry, visiting factories and becoming patron of the Industrial Society, now known as the Work Foundation. It was to a group of industrialists in 1961 that the Duke displayed characteristic bluntness when he told them, "Gentlemen, it's time we pulled our fingers out." This tendency to be forthright was interpreted by some as boorishness and sometimes got him into trouble. He certainly gained a reputation for misjudging situations, particularly when he was abroad. He made one of his most controversial comments while accompanying the Queen on a state visit to China in 1986. He made what he thought was a private remark about slitty eyes. The tabloid went into a frenzy, although it seemed to cause little concern in China. On a visit to Australia in 2002, he asked the Aboriginal businessmen whether you still throw spears at each other. Tensions. While he was heavily criticized in some quarters for such remarks, others saw them as reflecting someone who was his own man and who had refused to become bound by political correctness. Indeed, many saw his so-called gaffes as nothing more than an attempt to lighten the atmosphere and put the people at their ease. Throughout his life, Prince Philip maintained an enthusiasm for sport. He sailed, played cricket and polo, excelled at carriage driving, and was president of International Equestrian Federation for many years. The tension with his eldest son resurfaced with the publication of Jonathan Dimbleby-Bees' biography of Prince Charles. The Duke of Edinburgh, it was said, had pushed Charles into his marriage to Lady Diana Spencer. Yet the Duke was more solicitous than many critics would allow during the difficult years when his children's marriage were disintegrated. He took the lead in attempting to understand the problems prompted perhaps by his own memories of the difficulties of marrying into the royal family. Pilgrimage. Prince Philip was greatly saddened by the ending of the marriages of three of his children, Princess Anne, Princess Andrew, as well as Prince Charles. But he always refused to talk about personal matters, telling a newspaper in 1994 that he had not done so before and was not going to start then. Advancing years barely slowed the pace of his life. He continued to travel extensively, both for the worldwide Fund for Nature and the King on state visit abroad. And he made a personal pilgrimage to Jerusalem in 1994 to visit the tomb of his mother, a wish to be buried a wish to be buried there had been fulfilled. There was another poignant moment to him during the 50th anniversary of victory of Japan in 1995. Prince Philip had been on a British destroyer in Tokyo Bay when the Japanese surrendered, and on the anniversary, he joined other veterans of the Fast East campaign in marching past the Queen on the bowl. Warm tones. He also expressed sympathy for those former prisoners and of the Japanese who had found it hard or indeed impossible to forgive what had been done to them. His brusqueness mellowed a little in later years, prompted by the public's sometimes hostile attitude to the royal family after the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. In 2007, letters between the Duke and the Princess were published in an attempt to refute claims that he had been hostile to his daughter-in-law. Dubbed the dearest PA letters, they showed he had been a source of a great support to Diana, a fact underlined by the warm tones in which she wrote to him. Mohammed Al-Fayed, the father of Diana's last companion, though he even suggested at the inquest into her death that she had been murdered on Prince William's order. On Prince Philip's orders. An allegation the coroner strongly rejected. No nonsense approach. Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, was a strong-willed and independent man who found himself at the centre of a British society. He was a natural leader whose role forced him always to take second place, a man with a combative temperament that frequently sat uneasily with the sensitivities of his position. "I've just done what I think was my best," he once told the BBC. "I can't suddenly change my whole way of doing things. I can't change my interest or the way I react to things. That's just my style." The Duke retired from public life in August 2017, after decades supporting the Queen and attending events for his own charities and organization. Buckingham Palace calculated he had completed 22,219 sole engagements since 1952. And Theresa May, then the Prime Minister, thanked him for a remarkable life of a public service. Philip celebrated his 70th wedding anniversary later that year. A hip replacement operation did not stop him driving his carriages around the ground of Windsor Castle, and he survived a serious car accident while driving near Sandringham in January 2018. Two women in the other car were injured, and the Duke voluntarily surrendered his driver's license. During the coronavirus pandemic, Philip and the Queen moved to Windsor Castle and were given a vaccine in January 2021. By strength and stay. Philip was successful in using his position to make a huge contribution to British life and played his part in helping the monarchy come to terms with the changing social attitudes over the years. But his greatest achievement was undoubtedly the constancy and the strength of his support for the Queen. In the long years of their reign, he believed his job was, as he told his biographer, to ensure the Queen can reign. At a speech given at a celebration to mark the couple's golden wedding anniversary, the Queen paid tribute to her husband, the longest serving royal consort in British history. He is someone who doesn't take easily to compliment, but he has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years. And I and his whole family and these and many other countries owe him a debt greater than he would ever claim or we shall ever know. And this is the end of the story of Philip, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. It was a great man,